welcome, yogis and yoginis, to our non-dual tantric meditation session here, live streamed on YouTube and Facebook tonight. I still haven't figured out how to do it on simultaneously on Instagram. So next week, I'll also be on Instagram as well. But it's wonderful to be here with you and sort of coming back into doing live streams again. I was doing them for 2 years through COVID and then sort of got burned out on doing the live streams and just focused everything on the live, doing it live in studio. I teach in Berkeley, California, as well as Sebastopol, California, a couple times a week. And so it's wonderful to be back online and reach my wider audience again, because I have a lot of people that I know that don't live in California that would like to do some meditation. So I'm really delighted to be here again with you. I'm Lisa Ingalls Witter. If you're new to my channel, you're new to me, I am obviously a non-dual tantric meditation teacher. I'm a psycho-spiritual counselor, and I work with people one-on-one. I have programs, I do workshops. So I'll let you know about those things and upcoming things on these live sessions as well. But just to make sure I don't forget anything, I'm going to go ahead and look at my notes here. So if you've never done non-dual tantric meditation, don't worry. These I make every session totally accessible for anybody, no matter what path you've been on. But non-dual tantric meditation is very different than mindfulness meditation. It's not for while stress reduction and relaxation is an outcome of non-dual tantric meditation, that is not the focus. The focus of non-dual tantric meditation is awakening to our true nature. So spiritual awakening and liberation from all of the stories, all of the ideas and constructs of who you think you are that actually keep you from experiencing your true nature. So it's a very, very profound path. And when I found it about 5 years ago, I mean, I'd been practicing yoga and I'm in the lineage of Paramahansa Yogananda. So I'm a Kriyaban and initiated in that lineage. But there was a point at which I realized I need something more, and found my way into non-dual Shaiva Shakta Tantra, which is the most esoteric path. And if you're familiar with Tibetan Buddhism or Vajrayana Buddhism, those are cousins or sisters, brothers, whatever you want to call it, of non-dual Shakta Shaiva Tantra. They're very closely related. Dzogchen Buddhism is also very closely related to this path as well. So if you've done meditation or practices on those paths, then this will feel familiar to you. And if you haven't, that's okay too. Like I said, this is really for everyone and anyone. So we'll just dive in together, and I'll let you know, and I always tell everybody this when they come to my classes, that you can drop in anytime. And what's great about these is they're in replay. So I know that a lot of people will be watching them in replay. We're meeting here every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So I know that that's quite late for East Coasters, but if you're on the other side of the world, it might actually work out well for you. This might be a morning meditation for you instead of an evening meditation. So we'll be here, meeting here every Thursday. And what happens is I work with a theme over the course of a month, generally speaking. Now, since we're starting in the middle of the month, we'll just do a couple of one theme this month. But then next month, we're going to start in on a theme. So if you come every Thursday, you will get like a little mini series of an entire theme. So that's sort of my little way of bribing you to come on a regular basis. But I know that that's not always possible. So that being said, the other thing I want to say is, while these meditation practices will provide you with a great foundation, what I do suggest is come back. If you like this, come back and stick with it for a little while. And if you decide, wow, I really like this, then there will be a point at which you might want to take it further. And what I always tell everyone is, we can get so far with the meditation practices in this type of setting, but then there comes a time when you need to have some more support and deeper teachings that I can't give in the short amount of time that I do here in these teachings. So over time, and in the description, I'll always let you know of any upcoming workshops or programs, or if you want to work one-on-one with me, that's always available too. And my website is karmic-warrior.com. I'll make sure that that's in the description, because I'm not sure that I put that in the description here. And then finally, if you find value in these meditations, if you enjoyed it, donations are accepted. I put a little QR code here on the screen, so you can just scan that QR code. No need to. These are totally based on my giving to you. It's just my contribution to you. But if you feel like, wow, I got some value out of this, then great. Donations are accepted as well. So let me give you the format of what to expect for our sessions together. So I'll always begin, if you're a student of mine, you know this, I always begin with the non-dual invocation. It's the non-dual invocation of the lineage and the path that I come from, that I study, that I'm a student practitioner of. So I always begin that to open circle. We always want to set the space. We don't just want to dive right into our meditation. So we set the space by opening with the non-dual invocation. I'll say it in Sanskrit, and then I'll say it again in English so that you know what the invocation is saying. And then we will, if we were in person, I would have everybody presence themselves in the circle. But since we can't do that, we are going to, actually, we can sort of do it. You can, in the chat, presence yourself. Let me know that you're here. If you're joining live, even if you're joining in replay, that's great too. You can still say hi in the chat, in the comments, and where you're joining from. And then the other very special thing that I always do before we start our practice is I have everybody pick a card from my oracle. This is the Karmic Warrior Oracle. So I will shuffle. I'll pick a card. If you were in my live class, everybody would pick a card, pick their own card, and then share what their card was. The reason why I use the deck is for a couple reasons. Number one is I created it with every card, so that every card has a principle or a foundational principle or idea of non-dual Tantra on it. And so it's a way for me to teach a little bit, impromptu teaching, but it's also a way to have you set your intention. Before we begin our practice, we always want to set a we always want to have a sankalpa for our practice. And sometimes, you're just coming in from work right now, or you're getting ready to start your day and you're a little bit foggy. Things are on your mind and it's like, I don't know what I want my intention to be. So this makes it easy. We'll pick a card and that'll be our intention for our practice. After we do that, I will do a very short teaching, just a little bit of an introduction to the practice, and then we'll go ahead and practice together. So during this time that I've been doing the introduction, hopefully you've had some time to get settled and hopefully find a quiet space to practice. We don't want to be in a space where you're going to have your animals. I have a kitten, so I say this knowing that my kitten wants to be in here really bad right now, but I knew she'd be climbing on my computer and on my lap and up my arm. So we don't want that. We don't want animals if they're going to be disturbing to us. And just a quiet space, really. That's all you need. The other thing that I recommend is that you have a meditation cushion or a meditation bench, like I'm sitting on a meditation bench, or a chair. versus sitting on a comfy schmumpy couch or your bed. If that's your only option, that's fine too. But I want this not to be a sleepitation. I want it to be a meditation for you. So get comfortable, but not so comfortable that you're going to fall asleep, right? All right. So, with that, let's go ahead and open with our non dual invocation. So, you can just get settled, take a moment to close your eyes, getting settled, and taking a couple of long, slow breaths. And just allowing your awareness to drop into the region of your heart. Settling into that still, silent place in the heart, the stillness that underlies any movement, the silence that underlies any sound. So if you're feeling movements of your mind or movements of the body in the form of tensions or contractions, or even movements in your environment, sounds, other people, other beings, allow your awareness to settle beneath all of that. And as you do, just allow your inner senses to begin to open, your inner sense of seeing and hearing and smelling and touching, but especially allowing your deepest inner knowing, your intuition, to begin to open quite widely as you prepare to receive the non-dual invocation. And as you hear the words in Sanskrit, you may sense or feel or imagine that they're pouring through the crown of your head like a golden nectarian light, spilling down your central channel and into your heart, saturating your heart. Atma Twam Girija Mati Sahachara Prana Sharirangarham Pujate Vishayo Pabogarachana Nidra Samadhi Stiti Sanchara Padayo Pradakshina Vidhi Stotrani Sarva Gira Yad Yat Karma Karomi Tat Tadakilam Shambho Tavara Dinam Jaya Jaya Karunabde Shri Mahadeva Shambho. You are myself, my core, my essence. The goddess is my mind, and my pranas are your attendants. My body is your temple, and enjoying the objects of the senses is my worship of you. My sleep is your state of samadhi. And wherever I walk, I'm performing worship of you. All my words are hymns of praise to you, and all my actions are worship of you, O benevolent one. Om. And very slowly, just opening your eyes, coming back into our space together. So, once again, welcome to our practice. Thank you for joining, whether you're joining live or in replay. It's wonderful to be here with you. So, we'll begin by setting our intention. So, we're going to pull a card from the Oracle, from the Karmic Warrior Oracle. So, I just ask you to, maybe close your eyes once again, or just get really centered as I shuffle the deck here and sort of feel into what wants to be revealed to us. What is our message for our practice today? What is our Sankalpa going to be? So we picked the Align card, the Align card. So this is all about, when we pick the Align card from the deck, this is about aligning with our true nature versus our ego, our constructed self. So how often do we go through our days really living our life from our constructed self instead of our true self, our true nature? So this card, as we pull it, it's just a little nudge to align with our true nature, with our true self, which is what we're going to be practicing tonight. So the word, the principle that is on this card is will. Now there's two interpretations, which you can't see on the card, but if you could see it, there's a top interpretation of this word will and a bottom interpretation of the word will. So as I read these interpretations, I want you to see, where do you land between these two interpretations? I'm going to read the bottom interpretation first. So the bottom interpretation is when we're not abiding in our true nature, how we'll experience this principle of will in our lives. All right, so here it is. Ignoring or dismissing an inner impulse as fantasy, a wild dream, or something that shouldn't be taken seriously. All right, so that's the first interpretation. Now, when you are abiding in your true nature, this is how you'll experience will. You'll experience will as a spontaneous and creative urge to express and experience the fullness of your being. All right, so just for a moment, sense into that. Where in your life may this principle of will be something that you can look at, something that you can harness, right? So a lot of times we get these creative urges or inspirations, and sometimes they're so big, these inspirations, and they just seem outlandish. They can seem outlandish, and then either we or someone else smashes it down and says, "Oh, that's crazy. That's just fantasy. There's no way that could ever happen. So forget it." And that's when we're not aligning with our true nature. We're not heeding the call, so to speak. When we are aligning with our true nature, this principle of will, this spontaneous urge to create, to express ourselves, to explore, to experience the world through this body mind without any hesitation. That's really what the principle of will is. And as we move through the weeks, um, together in our practice, that will is actually one of the 5 acts of the divine. So we'll discuss that a little bit more. But since this is sort of our inaugural session together, um, I won't go too much into that. But what I do want you to do is to consider for yourself again, where are you between those two interpretations, more towards the top or more towards the bottom? And allow your sankalpa for your practice and for living your life be one in which you do pay attention to that creative urge that's maybe coming from that deeper place within, not an egoic urge, but a deeper, like, wow, there's like a deep inspiration, and follow that inspiration. Great time of year to get this card right at the beginning of the year. So, beautiful. So let's talk a little bit about what we're going to be practicing tonight. So tonight we're going to be doing a foundational practice, and this is what we might call, or what I would put into the category of an awareness practice. Um, Let me put it this way. Most of us, most of the time, are identified with the stories that we have about ourselves, or with our emotions, or we're preoccupied in our awareness, and our attention is focused on objects outside of us, like what's going on at work or what's going on in my family, or we get distracted by any number of things, whether it's our to-do list or a conversation that we just had with a best friend, and we're like, oh, wait a minute, I want to make sure he or she knows this or that or whatever. So um, in tonight's practice, what we're going to do, like I said, it's a very foundational practice, is we're going to really precisely move towards the experience of our true nature. And this isn't very hard to do. It's actually quite easy to do. It just takes a little bit of focus, a little bit of, um, I want to say concentration, but concentration in the sense that you don't need to work hard. It's just about literally becoming aware of what is present and what is true in this very moment, in this now moment. All right. So I'm not going to talk anymore. It's much easier, I think, to have the direct experience, to do the practice together, and then allow you to have an experience of it. And what I encourage is that as I would say after we do the practice, feel free to write in the chat or in the comments. Even if I end the live stream and you have a question, put it in the chat, put it in the comments, or whatever your experience was from the meditation. Put it in the chat, put it in the comments. And here's why: because you are not going to be the only one who has the experience that you have. Our experiences are universal. And I find that people have a lot of questions when we do these types of meditations. And those questions I will answer, whether it's tonight or in our next session together. So we are ready to begin our practice together. And this is why I always tell people, oh, it'll be about 25 minutes, but honestly, I never know. Goal is to end right around 7:30 Pacific time, but we'll see. It might be a little bit shorter, might be a little bit longer. So, with that, let's go ahead and begin. And I just ask you to close your eyes once again, taking a couple of long, slow breaths, getting settled, and sensing the surface underneath you. Noticing all the different places where your body comes into contact with the surface underneath you. And just feeling that support, knowing that you're held by the literal ground, the physical ground underneath you, but you're also held by an infinite ground of being. Now, allow your awareness to drop into the space of your heart. And from this place, begin to expand your field of awareness in all directions, in front of you, behind you, to the left and to the right, above you and below you. It's as if you can just allow your awareness to move outward in all directions, expanding your field of awareness. And just becoming aware of all the different phenomena in your external environment that are arising in your field of awareness right now. Perhaps you hear different sounds, whether it's the sound of other people in your household, the sound of traffic outside of your window, maybe even a gentle hum of your computer, or just the sound of my voice. You're not paying any particular attention to one sound or the other. It's just noticing how these different sounds arise within your awareness. They're there for a certain period of time, and then they subside. They dissolve back into awareness. And the one thing that remains constant is awareness. You're aware when a sound is present, but you're also aware when a sound is absent. Sounds come and go, but awareness remains constant. Now, allowing those sounds to move into your secondary awareness, which just simply means allow them to sort of move into background awareness. They'll come and go, but bringing your awareness in a little bit closer to the body. Noticing some of the more prominent sensations that you may be experiencing in the body. The breath, the gentle beating of your heart. Or maybe you have some type of muscular tension or pain that you're aware of. Just noticing what phenomena of the body are present, what phenomena are arising in your awareness. And just noticing how these phenomena are really no different than sound phenomena. Whatever the phenomena of the body is, whether it's the breath, it comes and it goes. It arises within your awareness, it's maintained for a period of time, and then it's released or it subsides. The same is true for any sensations you feel in the body. They arise within your awareness. They're present for a period of time, maybe just a moment, maybe a day, maybe several weeks. But still, these sensations, at some point, they cease to exist. But the one thing that remains constant is awareness. You're aware when one of these sensations or experiences of the body is present. And you're aware when it's absent. Awareness is ever present, it's constant. And so you can allow these sensations in the body that are arising and subsiding to move into the background of your awareness, along with whatever other environmental experiences are arising and subsiding. As you draw your awareness in, all the way in to the mind, to the thoughts and any associated emotions that may be arising in your awareness right now. And you'll notice that these thoughts really have no more intrinsic value than external sounds or phenomena in the environment or even of the body, because thoughts, they too arise within your awareness. They're maintained by your attention, and then they subside. They come and go, along with their associated emotions. But the one thing that remains constant is awareness. You're aware when a thought is present. You're also aware when a thought is absent. External phenomena and anything you can perceive in your environment through your five senses, the sensations of the body and the cognitions, thoughts and feelings of the mind, these are called or referred to as the contents of our awareness. In other words, awareness holds all of these perceptions, sensations, and cognitions. Notice how that's true in your direct experience. Most of the time, most of us are directing our attention on the contents of awareness. And therefore, forgetting that what holds the contents of awareness is awareness itself. So gently now, very gently, allow your attention to move away from the contents of awareness and to awareness itself. Now, if it feels challenging to do that, here's a little trick you could use. You could take one sound, for instance, in your environment, and it may even be the sound of this voice. And notice that you're aware when there's a sound, and particularly notice that you're aware when there's no sound. Right there. That's where you'll find awareness, in between the sounds, in between the sensations, and in between the thoughts or emotions. As you become more aware of awareness than you are of the contents of awareness, you'll notice that awareness has some particular qualities. The first is that it's ever present. Are you ever not aware? No. Awareness is ever present, it's always there. Another quality you'll notice about awareness is that it has the capacity to host and hold everything. Notice how that's true in your direct experience. The vast multiplicity of perceptions in any moment that awareness holds. It doesn't say no to any perception. It allows it all to be there without denying it. It doesn't say no to any sensation. It allows it all to be there without denying it. It doesn't say no to any thought or any emotion. Everything is invited, allowed to stay as long as it stays and to leave when it's ready to leave. Awareness doesn't try to hold on either. It lets perceptions subside, it lets sensations subside, thoughts and emotions subside. So awareness is ever present and it has the capacity to host and hold anything and everything unconditionally. Isn't that what we would call love? Infinite love. Awareness is what you are. It's your true nature. You are this infinite, loving presence. But when you focus your attention on thoughts and emotions and perceptions and sensations and identify with those instead of identifying with the awareness which holds and hosts all of those, you experience suffering, disappointment, hopelessness, frustration, anger, rage, despair. It's really quite simple. You just need to become aware that you are aware. So just taking a couple of long, slow breaths once again, feeling your body, feeling all the different places where your body is in contact with the surface underneath you, maybe wiggling your toes or fingers a little bit, stretching, but taking your time before you fully surface back. And as you open your eyes and come back into our space together, you can just keep a gentle, a soft gaze. And notice right now, as you open your eyes, what you're aware of. And then become more aware of the fact that you're aware than you are of the contents of awareness. So if you've never done this type of meditation before, it might be a little bit strange or feel a little bit strange, but it is a foundational practice of non-dual tantra to abide in awareness. So we didn't spend a lot of time really abiding in awareness because this practice is prior to that where we notice everything that we're aware of first, because that's the easiest place to start. We got to give ourselves sort of like a grounding point, right? We're already aware of the contents of our awareness. We just need to notice the contrast between being aware of the contents and being aware of awareness itself. So we do this practice for quite a bit of time until we can find our way to our true nature as awareness for longer and longer and longer periods of time. So no rush at all. We'll get there in due time. But I encourage you to come back to this meditation, come back to this recording and practice it again and again and again. And please do come back next week if you enjoyed this practice. We'll do a continuation. You'll notice that I never do the same practices, never do the same practice exactly the same in the same genre, but next week will be in the same theme but different. So I hope to see you then. And please do leave a comment if you feel um, like you have a question, I'm happy to answer those questions. And don't worry if the stream has ended or if you're watching in replay. I do read all comments. I'll answer the questions on the next live stream. And also, your questions and comments allow me to cater these practices to you. So, and last thing, if you found this practice of value and you feel inspired to donate, there's the link in the description, or you can just scan the QR code that's right here on the screen. And that's it for now. So thank you so much for joining tonight and or this morning or this afternoon, depending where you're joining from in your neck of the woods. Until next time, be safe, be well, take care. Om.